Adrian, can you see the recording on the YouTube if we on the site? If we can see, if you guys can see it, it's okay. We can begin now. And do we have a PowerPoint presentation here? Entire screen, screen two. All right, all right. Hello. Okay, so can you guys see the presentation? All right. What about in YouTube? The presentation in YouTube, my dear moderator. Ay, ayan. Sige, wait lang natin yung ano. All right. So how is everybody doing today? Let's go around the class first. Let's try with Rainiel. Let's try it with Rainiel whilst we're checking the. All right. So 1 to 2 sentences lang. Ayoko nang mahaba na sagot, Rainiel, ha? Charing, we don't need to hear the story of your life, ha? All right. What about Charisse? How are you, Charisse? Gutom. My goodness, ako nga kakagising ko lang. Diretso na ako sa inyo. Nag-ilamos lang ako dahil it's winter here. Ang lamig-lamig. All right. What about Anna? How are you, Anna?
Fine, sir. Thank you.
You're fine. Um, what about my lovely and ever so helpful moderator, Mr. Adrian? How are you? All right. I am doing great. Thank you so much for asking. All right, so we're going to move on with the specific microorganisms. Um, we don't. I don't need to put a title on the other ones because it's already there in the very first slide, and even in the YouTube recording, you can see it. By the way, if you want to get a recording of this one, it is available on a playlist that I will provided for you guys because I love you guys so much. All right, so now disconnect. Can you guys hear me? Hello? All right. So I think it's okay now. All right. So okay, so our first topic for today is going to be about the cocci, or the specific organisms under the gram-positive and gram-negative cocci. So we're going to start first with the genera or the family included in the family Micrococciae. So in the family Micrococciae, can you see the one that is in full screen? Can you guys see it in full screen? All right, so what we're going to talk about are these four families of microorganisms, or rather, these four bacterial families that are under the genera Micrococciae. And the family Micrococciae of medical importance for you guys that you need to remember is the family of Staphylococcus, Stomatococcus, Micrococcus, and Planococcus. Are we going to talk about the other two? No, we're just going to talk about Staphylococcus and Micrococcus. All right? So the other ones are just there for you guys to remember. It's just a small flex. All right? Now, if we're going to talk about them in the gram stain, the morphology will be as follows. Staphylococcus will be in clusters, while Micrococcus is a little different. Micrococcus is cocci, gram-positive cocci in tetrads. What do I mean by tetrads or tetrads? They are in clumps of four, while um, Staphylococcus are in a grape-like cluster. So I'm gonna go and make a drawing of it in the screen. Hopefully you guys will appreciate my uh, let's go with, since we're talking about, so grape-like clusters like this in tetrads or tetrads will be like four pieces of gram-positive cocci together, while um, a staphylococcus will be this. There's not really a number. It's just It's just a bunch of gram-positive coccus that looks like a grape. All right, hence staph. Staph actually means in Latin grapes. All right. Now, Sarcina is another species belonging to the family Micrococciae, belonging a member of Micrococciae or Micrococci rather, not Micrococciae. And they are species that are identified from other members of the Micrococci genera because they're because of their special gram stain appearance. They have clusters of eight or packets of eight. All right. So please remember them. You can identify them using the gram stain, but again, it's difficult because you need to do biochemical testing. But since we're talking about the species in general, these are how they were traditionally identified. So traditionally, I'm not saying the conventional methods are much more intricate and much more detailed, such as genetic testing or genomic studies. But for the purpose of you guys understanding the language, I want you guys to remember that the traditional ways the traditional ways on which they were classified was through the gram stain morphology. All right, so please don't be confused later on when we go to the specific ones where it involves biochemical testing. It's just an introduction for you guys. All right, okay. Now, cocci packets of eight, Sarcina species. All right, now let's talk about the growth patterns. Now, when we talk about growth patterns, sorry, somebody is messaging me in Facebook. Okay, all right, so somebody, never mind. I got a little bit distracted. I'm gonna close Facebook now. Anyway, anyway, we're gonna talk about the characteristic growth patterns of staph species or Staphylococci. Staphylococci are identified by having white creamy colonies and then they have a pinhead size colony, all right, with a characteristic hemolytic pattern based on the species. All right, so when we talk about hemolytic patterns, can anybody in the class remember your hemolytic patterns? I remember there was one girl last week. She asked me the difference of a specific hemolytic pattern, but we're gonna answer that one later. But in the class, let's try. What are the types of hemolytic patterns? Anybody? Hem- Anna, give me the three alpha, gamma, and beta. All right, wonderful. Now, can you differentiate all three of them? Just a vague description for me. Just give me a vague description. All right, Noreen. Uh-huh. All right, thank you. Those are correct answers. Wonderful. Now, another question would be differentiate them when you look at them on on the physical plates or blood agar plates, physically on blood agar plates. Can anybody describe them to me? Aside from saying complete hemolysis, blah, 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 blah. All right, who can tell me what it looks like? These three hemolytic patterns. Hmm. Suddenly, everybody became quiet. All right, let's go. Let's try to talk to somebody in the class. What about Ronalisa? Ronalisa, what does can you describe to me what complete hemolysis looks like when you view it in when you view it with the naked eye? Ronalisa? Oh, oh, hello, Ronalisa. Uh-huh. So what is complete hemolysis? So yeah, Noreen told me it was complete hemolysis. All right. So I want you to describe to me what complete hemolysis looks like when you look at it in the plate. Or you can describe to me what it looks like, what alpha hemolysis looks like, or what you call partial hemolysis or incomplete hemolysis looks like. Anybody in the class? All right. Somebody raised their hand. Try to unmute yourself. Who was that? Somebody raised his hand, his or her hand. Who was that? I did. All right, Ronaliza, describe to me what the appearance of incomplete or partial hemolysis looks like. Aha. But what I'm asking you is the actual appearance. Oh, suddenly everybody became quiet. All right, Adrian, give it a go. Oh, what do when you say there's a slight and when you say yeah, I know. That's the reason why I always gave it late. I always give it late to you, sir. I'm not saying I haven't prepared it yet. I want to challenge the students. Kaya hindi ako nagbibigay, Sir Marco, kaagad. I want them to have at least an inkling of what I'm talking about, or at least activates a little bit of their neurons. Kaya late ako magbigay, usually 5 minutes before the actual lecture ako nagbibigay. All right, Noreen. Okay, go. Ayun. All right. And then, okay. All right, that's the answer that I'm looking for because when you go to the laboratories, they wouldn't ask you complete hemolysis, blah 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 hemolysis. They would say when you go to the laboratory, especially when you become interns, you'll be asked what type of hemolysis this is, and you're gonna be shown a plate. If it looks green, it will be what? Everybody in the class, I want to hear everybody's voice. It will look green. All right. All right, everybody in the class again. Alpha hemolysis is. I'm not hearing everybody. All right, wonderful. Because I'm preparing you guys not just for the board exam. I love you guys so much. I'm preparing you. I'm preparing you for your internship. I don't know if you guys are interns already or doing internships, but suffice it to say that's the goal of my question. All right. Now, let's talk about them again. Three types of hemolytic patterns. So this is a drawing that I think has been circulating over the internet for quite some time now. Alpha is this one. I'm not sure if it's clear for you guys there on your half, but there is a little bit of greenish discoloration there. While beta is complete hemolysis and there's clear zones. Does it look clear? um blood agar plates or blood agar plates are basically your nutrient agar, right? We just add blood on it before it becomes cool, and therefore it's red. Now, clear in this case is basically yellowish discoloration in which light passes through it directly. If you're not sure if it's if you're not sure if it's beta hemolysis, put it against a light stand or a lamp. When light passes through it clearly, that's when you can identify its beta hemolysis. So that's a practical way for you guys to differentiate alpha and beta hemolysis. Another one is gamma hemolysis, and of course, from the name itself, from your basic description earlier, it's going to have no hemolytic pattern as well. Now, alpha hemolytic colonies produce a specific type of hemoglobin, and this is what you call methemoglobin. So, what is produced by alpha hemolytic organisms? That's the answer to this question, which is methemoglobin. What is produced by alpha hemolytic organisms that results to the characteristic color of the blood in agar plates? That is methemoglobin. Pero sir, akala ko ba sa hematology, it's color green. I know it's color brown when you talk about methemoglobin. Remember, class, that our subject for today is microbiology, specifically bacteriology. In hematology, greenish discoloration of blood is for what? Anybody can give me an answer. Anybody? Greenish discoloration of blood is associated with anybody? With what hemoglobin variant? Nobody? Hemoglobin review, hematology review. Recall question. Ah, taray, recall question. Parang nasa ano lang, no, board exam review center lang. Ha? Sabi ko, hi, Adrian. Sabi ko, ano, what hemoglobin variant? I'm not asking for specific microorganism. Adrian, ha? What hemoglobin variant is present when the blood has a greenish discoloration? It is also associated with patients who are drinking, who are undergoing sulfatide treatment. Nakalimutan na nila. All right, it's sulf hemoglobin. So please don't forget sulf hemoglobin. So you have methemoglobin, oxyhemoglobin, cyan methemoglobin. Those are the things that you need to remember. All right? Yes, Cesar, I know. I know, Cesar. Nakalimutan ko nga, sir. I can tell. All right? So those are the types of one. But in this case, methemoglobin in in blood agar plates is colored green. All right. Now, what is the special hemolytic pattern characterized? Si mali ang ano. Bata pa ako niyan nung ginawa ko yan, guys. O, di ba? Bata pa. Taray, bata pa. All right. So, what special hemolytic pattern is characterized? What this is? Sorry. Okay, by incomplete hemolysis with an inner zone of complete hemolysis. That's one of the questions I think from. I'm not sure if it's Joanna Baltar or Mayra Gagazo who asked me last week. What is the difference between that particular one? Can anybody answer this for me? This is a special hemolytic pattern characterized, guys, characterized. I think it was a girl last week. Ayon. Oh, 'di ba? Somebody still remembers their bacteriology one. All right. Ay, so, hala, sorry, I stand corrected. I thought it was Joanna or Mayra. Sorry, sorry, sorry. All right. Thank you, Charisse. So what does alpha prime look like? Now I'm gonna give you guys a brief description of it. Wait. Let me pull up Paint because it will be much better for you guys. Because I'm searching in the internet what it looks like, but they're always showing it to me in some other they're always showing me alpha hemolysis, and it's not very clear for students who aren't as experienced in the field of what happened to this. What happened to my there? Okay, so this is my plate. Imagine this is your plate, guys. Let's try to imagine because I don't have plates with me right now. I should have brought one, but I have a long weekend. I have a long weekend schedule, so I can't show you. I can't bring some of the materials from the laboratory, unfortunately. So I have 4 days off. And anyway, this is your blood agar plates, right? Everybody's clear with that one. And green, uh, I'll denote green with this circle. Okay, so that's your alpha hemolysis. Let's make it a little bit larger. And then the organism will grow like that. That will be your alpha hemolytic pattern. Correct? We don't have anything to talk about. We don't have anything about that one, right? Okay. Where was I? Now let's go back to the description. Um, okay. Okay. Oops. Let's go back to our first description earlier. What was our description? Special hemolytic pattern with characterized by incomplete hemolysis with an inner zone of complete hemolysis. So let's go back to paint and What it meant by that one is you're going to have something like this. Something is inside near your colonies. You're going to have yellow zones or clear zones of hemolysis. So that's what it looks like. All right. So that's alpha prime. Okay. So it's clear na, Charis, what it looks like because you asked last. All right. So there's an outer zone and an inner zone. So alpha prime. The primal zone is the green one, and then it's followed by another hemolytic pattern inside. Okay, so clear. Hopefully it's clear, and hopefully it can be seen in YouTube as well. I think it's seen in YouTube. All right. Anyway, let's move on to this. This is a special hemolytic pattern. Blah blah blah. So that's alpha prime. That's the answer to that question. I'll change the. Wait. I'm I'm bothered by the grammatical error. I am extremely bothered by the grammatical error. Remember, guys, I was still a student when I made this one up. I do tutorial classes back then, and look at me now. I'm teaching you guys my yeah, editing. I haven't been editing it ever since. All right, so alpha prime hemolysis. Now, let's move on to Staphylococcus aureus. It's characterized by what hemolytic pattern on blood agar plates? Anybody can answer? Can anybody answer? Staphylococcus aureus is characterized by what type of hemolytic pattern? Chat, or you can use the chat box if you want. Let's try with people in the chat. I want to see what everybody's thinking. You have three hemolytic patterns. Your choices is alpha, beta, and gamma hemolysis. Everybody, type on the chat what you think is the correct answer to this slide. Hello? Okay, beta hemolysis, beta hemolysis. Nobody's going to nobody's going to contest. All right, so nobody's gonna say gamma hemolysis. Okay, so everybody's answering beta hemolysis. Okay, beta po. Okay, all right. What else? Nobody's gonna answer, sir. In my opinion, and my opinion, and I'm I'm entitled to my opinion. It's gamma hemolysis, sir. You can't tell me otherwise. Walang ganon. Rainiel said beta or gamma po, sir. O yan, may sumagot, may isa. Meron tayong Karen. Alright? Si Cesar and si Cesar and Rainiel, medyo Karen sila. In my opinion, sir. Alright, so this is this is not a law class where your opinions would matter. However, because of the fact that we're talking about facts. So the correct answer is beta hemolysis. Alright? Okay? So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Rainiel, and I'm sorry, Cesar. Your answers are incorrect at the moment, but we'll have other chances. All right, Cesar and Rainiel. Okay. Hopefully, hopefully your opinions weren't busted. Okay. Now let's move on to the different growth patterns of staph species. You need to remember that staph species traditionally were classified based on their morphological appearance, and these are the three species that are of importance when it comes to the appearance in LSS. What is LSS? Sir naman, hindi naman to music class. Hindi naman to music class. Bakit may LSS? Last song syndrome, sir. No. Can anybody give me the answer to LSS? You can Google it for me, but I don't think you would be able to see it there anymore. Let me try to Google it. LSS. Ah, yeah, you can't Google it anymore because it's an old culture media. Okay, so who can answer what's LSS? I want to check out if the students are actually looking at their books and their old notes.